pledge allegiance, please, if everybody can
I
stand.
tried and get him extra money because he worked for me.
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Start right off with the agenda.
Yes.
So the first item on tonight's agenda are the warrants and claims, which have been ordered and are submitted for your approval. Do I have a motion to approve the payment of the warrants and claims?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Fultora.
A second?
Thank you, trustee Bartolomeo. Trustee Wall?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nagro?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
You have before you the prior meeting minutes from the December 18th, 2023 for your approval. May I have a motion, please?
I move to accept the prior meeting minutes.
Thank you, trustee Nigro.
I'll second that.
Thank you, trustee Di Natale. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nigro?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
We have a proposal before you from GovPilot. It's a proposal to provide a 3-year subscription for cloud-based software for code enforcement purposes for a total cost of $9,996 annually. This is the software we currently use for the building department for the tracking of permits and violations and the building department-related matters. Do I have a motion to? I'm sorry?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, trustee.
I'll second.
Santoro. Thank you, trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nigro?
So this was an existing agreement and has it changed?
No, actually, it's being renewed at the same cost it was at.
I vote yes.
Thank you, trustee Nigro. Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo? Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
The next resolution, the item before you is I'm going to actually read it. It is a resolution related to the general village election. And it's whereas the general election of the Incorporated Village of Bayville, Nassau County, New York will be held on June 18th, 2024 for the purpose of choosing and electing 1 village justice for a term of 4 years and 3 trustees each for a term of 4 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the election districts established for general elections other than general village elections will be divided into 5 village election districts as follows. Village Election District 1 is Assembly District 13, Election District 1. Village Election District 2, Assembly District 13, Election District 4. Village Election District 3, Assembly District 13, Election District 5. Village Election District 4, Assembly District 13, Election District 9. Village Election District 5, Assembly District 13, Election District 10. Be it further resolved that the polling place for all village election districts will be at the firehouse of the Bayville Fire Company No. 1, Inc. at 258 Bayville Avenue, Bayville, New York, 11709, and the hours of opening and closing the polls thereof shall be noon and 9 p.m. respectively. So that is the resolution before you. I would need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion to accept the new. I'll second it.
Yes.
You want to mention about the fact that there's some lawsuits regarding this whole thing about mail-in ballots? They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing yet with them.
I don't know that
I
that
saw a
affects
thing
the
from-
establishment of the election.
No, it wouldn't have
districts
anything to do with that. Just this general.
General knowledge.
Apparently, the new state law that was passed this year allows so-called mail-in ballots for village elections, but there's some lawsuits pending about all of that, and no one knows what's going to happen yet. I just thought I would let everybody know that.
Yes, we're not at that
So it's
point
best-
yet, but that is something we will have to consider.
So we have to keep an eye on it, but it'll make it a lot simpler if people just come.
Yes.
And it's in June, too.
Yes.
So
I
it's
have a
not-
question. Is it usually open at noon? Or I thought it usually.
6 a.m.
Yeah,
This year, we're establishing the hours as noon to 9 p.m.
okay. Are people going to be okay with that? I know some people like to come before work. The road.
I mean, it's 9 hours worth. If it's out there early enough, people could certainly do a mail-in, as we just discussed. The last election, not the mayoral election, the last trustee election, I believe, was noon to 9 p.m. So we're just doing the same thing with this one.
All right, I didn't
And you can get absentee ballots too.
Yes.
No,
I mean,
just as long
absentee
as-
ballots, I think, are still okay.
Yeah, just as long as everybody knows. Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows,
No.
but I didn't remember that was the last time. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I had the motion from trustee Natale, and the second was trustee Maker. Thank you. Trustee Walsh,
Yes.
trustee Santoro,
Yes.
trustee Nygross,
Yes.
trustee Natale,
Yes.
trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
The next proposal before you is a proposal from H2M to assist the village in preparing the annual water supply consumer confidence report, which is required by New York State and Nassau County Department of Health. The maximum fee for H2M services is $2,800. This is the same as last year's service fee. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Santoro.
I'll second it.
Thank you, trustee DiBartolomeo. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Nygross.
Yes.
Trustee Natale.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
Again, another proposal related to water for the semi-annual tank inspection. This is the inspection of the water tower. And it's a proposal from H2M to perform required semi-annual inspections of the water tower on School Street for a total cost of $3,000. So they do one in the spring and then again an inspection in the fall.
This is the same price they've charged us in the past.
Yes, it is.
Make a motion?
Thank you, trustee DiBartolomeo.
I'll second that.
Thank you, trustee Natale. And trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Nygross.
Yes.
Trustee Natale.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
The next item is a proposal from Tony and Nick Masonry and Landscape for asphalt work needed in the DPW yard in the area of the Salton Skating Rink. It's for an amount not to exceed $2,900. There were proposals also received from American Paving and Hotein Brothers, both of which were more than Tony and Nick Masonry. And this is to help with and direct the running water running down the driveway and away from the salt shed area.
I make a motion?
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Santoro. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nygross?
Yes.
Trustee Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
The next item is the village went out to bid for a contract for the installation and emergency repairs for water mains and appurtenances. The bid opening was held on January 11th, 2024, and the village received 2 bids for the project. The winning bidder, the low bidder and responsible bidder is Alessio Pipe and Construction. The total comparison, the total submitted by the low bidder for, and this was a 3-year bid, so it covers a 3-year period. The first year, which is what you're voting on tonight, is a total of $250,445 for the contract period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. This is the total for the contract is every item within the contract we use. So the amount paid by the village is not $258,000. This gives us the ability to go and get water mains repaired, do other hydrant replacements and such with pre-bid costs and prices. And Pipe has been the winning contractor in the past, and they have a very good track record. They are the lowest responsible bidder.
Make a motion?
Thank you, trustee.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Santoro. And you do authorize the mayor to sign the contract?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Correct, thank you. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nygross?
Yes.
Trustee Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
I'm going to read the next resolution. It's actually a housekeeping of sorts. It's a resolution to reschedule the hearing date approved at the December 18th, 2020 meeting to maintain improved Pine Park Avenue and Howard Road, both of which are non-through streets as proposed by Tim Wilson, excuse me, an authorized representative for petitioners of the Pine Howard Civic Association, and set Monday, February 26, 2024 as the new date for the first hearing as required by Village Code, Chapter 64, Article 3, Private Street Improvements. So we're resetting the date to February 26th to start the hearing process for the Pine Howard Civic Association.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro.
I will second it if I know why it was rescheduled.
Because when we went to look at all the dates with the holidays in January, we were short on the required notice time. And since this process would end up in impossible assessment on to individuals, it was better to err in the, on the side of caution and make sure the proper notification time has been.
My second stance.
Thank you, Trustee Nigro. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro? Yes. Trustee Nigro?
Yes.
Trustee DiNatale?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Nicosi?
Yes.
The next item is to accept and approve or appoint the Town of Oyster Bay Town Clerk Richard Lamarca as a register of vital statistics for the village of Bayville. The appointment will expire December 31st, 2025.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee
I'll
Santoro.
second.
Thank you, Trustee Bartolomeo. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro? Yes. Trustee Nigro?
Yes.
Trustee DiNatale?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Okay, the final item was not on the agenda as of this morning. It has just recently been added. We do have copies of it. It's a proposal from Be Ready Law Group to provide legal services for the proposals of bargaining, analyzing union proposals, negotiating, and such for the agreement between the Village of Bayville and the CSEA. We have had Be Ready as our labor negotiators since about 1995 here in the village. The current proposal is for a $900 per month retainer, which is an increase of $800 per month over the previous retainer. It would begin on March 1st, 2024. If you read your proposal, it does say January 1st, 2024. Prior to the meeting, I confirmed with Ken Gray, the signature, that the proposal and new rates could become effective March 1st, 2024. They provide also an hourly rate for any extensive collateral litigation and $295, and they would be willing to honor these rates for 3 years.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Trustee DiNatale. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Nigro?
Yes.
Trustee DiNatale?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Nicosi?
Yes.
Mayor, I have no other business to put before you on the board. I turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you. And before I open the meeting up to the floor, just a few things to point out. In the last week to 2 weeks, we have had 2 snow events. We haven't had snow in quite some time, but I wanted to thank our highway department for doing an outstanding job. They're led by Giuseppe Siguranza here in the back. The roads were nice and clear. I really did not hear, I truly did not hear any complaints. I don't know if the office did, but I think you guys did a great job, and it's very much appreciated. Next, again, another thank you to the DPW. The ice rink is getting some good mileage out of it the last couple of days. Thanks in part to a couple of years worth of investment and good weather. But there's people skating on it right now as we speak. Yesterday, I'm told at one point there was almost up to 30 people skating on it. It's been very busy and very well received. And again, we thank the highway department, especially Chris Montel, for getting it ready. The infamous Harrison William Gates, if anyone has noticed, the gravel apron was in the process of being installed until it got too cold. But they were working on that, and then the last step will be the landscaping as soon as the weather breaks. Some positive news, we have Pat Legge here, and I'm told the library is supposed to reopen on January 29th. I don't want to steal your thunder, I'm sure you'll tell us all about it. But with every positive, I guess there's a negative. The bridge is closing, as everybody knows. Nobody wants to hear it. I know, I don't either. But February 22nd is the scheduled bridge closure for 35 days, so plan accordingly. Some other good news, there's some new businesses in town, and there's some businesses that are reopening. It's all good stuff. We have down at the west end of town, Builtwell Solar has moved into the old gym location. They are an established solar business, 25 years in the business, is not a startup. Talenti's Deli is hopefully reopening next month, we hope. It's been a long haul, but it looks beautiful in there. Hidden Harbor Restaurant, the former Twin Harbors, is scheduled to open in February. We have a tattoo shop here in Bayville. It's across from the fire department. It does look busy. When you peek in the windows, there is a lot of people in there, and the building looks nice. And then more my speed, we now have a gelato store in town, Scoops, down by Mill Creek Tavern, and we wish them well. And Bayville is back in business, I guess we could say. It's a lot of exciting stuff. And then lastly, we are now on social media. Bayville has an app that I encourage everybody to download for free. My Bayville is the name of it. It does a lot of fancy things. It ties into the community calendar. You can pay your water and tax bill. And it is a work in progress, but there's a lot of nice features on there. We're also now on Facebook. It's Village of Bayville /government is our Facebook name. And we are also on Instagram, Village of Bayville 11709. And I thank our office staff for all their hard work in getting all of that up to speed and up and running. So thank you all. All right, so we have, where do we want to start? With the Bayville Environmental? Joyce is here this evening.
Sure. I have my printer cut out after 2, but I have 2 copies of what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So I'm here with some members of the Bayville Environmental Commission. Going to.
Can I just ask you to identify
Oh,
yourself?
sorry. My name is Joyce Novak, and I'm the chair of the BECC. All right.
Thank you.
So recently we were made aware, and there was a mention of it in Newsday, of a proposal by the town of Oyster Bay to construct a 10,000 square foot shellfish hatchery at Ransom Beach. And while we're extremely supportive of a hatchery and all the benefits of increased shellfish, we're concerned that the town of Oyster Bay has not carried out a thorough site selection process and have only looked at 3 convenient sites to accommodate this plan and made a decision that's void of public process, data, and other necessary pieces of information. There are several overarching concerns that we have for a hatchery at the Ransom Beach site in particular. One, there's been no community engagement in Bayville. At this juncture, there should have been multiple public meetings outside of village trustee meetings where the community would have a voice in where the hatchery will be constructed if it is in Bayville, and given the opportunity to discuss any concerns about odor, wastewater, visual impact, and others. At this juncture, we're recommending a series of at least 2 to 3 public meetings organized by the town of Oyster Bay to gather community input into this process for a proposal at Ransom Beach. We're also recommending a 3rd meeting for the town of Oyster Bay to present in Bayville final site selection and concept plans to Bayville, regardless of where their final hatchery location is. The second recommendation from the BECC is that the town of Oyster Bay use their current contractor to carry out a full site assessment. This has not been done. And review all potential parcels on the bay side of Bayville and within Oyster Bay for a more appropriate hatchery location. Oyster Bay has reviewed 3 sites and provided no formal report on findings. Siting of the hatchery on the sound side with wave action, water conditions, increased maintenance needs, wastewater needs, speedies permits, and an unnecessarily large building completely ignores coastal consistency rules, sea level rise, storm action, and really sets Bayville up for unintended consequences of this location. It's also located at a site designated as open space in the LWRP and is across the road from a series of restaurants and businesses that will potentially be impacted. This is not working waterfront area, it's open space. So in short, we fully support a hatchery. We want it to be a generational success and provide shellfish to our grandchildren. In fact, we agree that this is a high need for the town of Oyster Bay and Bayville, and we fully support their current objective of a new hatchery, for creating conservation management areas in Oyster Bay and Bayville waters to ensure future marine systems and the livelihood of baymen and all of our abilities to recreate in our beloved waters. But our communities should be supported, and we request that the Village of Bayville work with Oyster Bay to form a steering committee that is comprised of representatives of Oyster Bay and include Bayville communities, businesses, the BECC, Bayville Planning Board, and of course trustees to find a location that is best suited for this purpose. So that is the first item that we'd like to bring before the trustees. The second item, and I'm going to ask another member of the BECC if they have additional information here, is somebody attended a meeting and brought up a concern about using recycled tire materials as part of artificial turf in parklands, specifically ball fields at West Harbor. And there seems to be an overwhelming amount of information about deleterious health effects with this material. So we were wondering if the village trustees had more information about the artificial turf that they wanted to use that could be reviewed, or if there was a source for this material that we could look at or that could be made available.
I mean, I know I'm very opposed to turf fields for that particular reason, but I thought you said they're now making it without the recycled tire?
Yeah, I mean, the turf field, although is still something I will pursue, we're not anyway, material types and.
Oh, okay.
This is
Okay.
a long way away.
Yeah, somebody came to the meeting and I didn't have all the information, but we just wanted to check.
I spoke to
Yeah.
them with the high school one because I was very against them putting the turf field at the high school.
Okay.
I mean, I could smell from my house the one from Center Island.
Mm-hmm.
On a hot day, you can
Mhm.
smell it. But I was told that they're now making the turf without the recycled tire more environmentally safe, safer because there have been studies that show that goalies in particular have a high rate of
Right.
cancer from diving onto the turf fields. So I do think, and when the mayor is ready to start looking at it, I do think there are alternatives that are now being used.
Okay. Yeah, if there's any way that we can be engaged in that process, that would be great.
Bring that to you guys when we're up to that point.
That's great.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to see if there was any way or what the best way was to follow up on the hatchery site at Ransom Beach. Because I think that this is really important that they get it right. And just personally, in my line of work and doing what I do for 20 years, that's not an appropriate site. So I would really like, the town of Oyster Bay has been a little bit not necessarily forthcoming with any reports that they might have about site selection data that they've collected.
They have been working on this. I happen to be on the board of the Waterfront Center,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been talking to them for the last 2 years about the hatchery being over there.
Uh-huh.
They did change their mind, which was, in my opinion, the right spot over.
Much better
on
site,
the site for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
They did recently just switch to Ransom Beach, and I forget why, but I do know they've been doing a lot of studies. I have worked with them for, I think, over the last 2 years on it. But I'm not sure what the mayor has planned to speak with them, but I'm happy to help.
I mean, I did go meet with them, and they did show me a rendering that, logistically, it's a terrible spot. The shellfish go to the bay,
Mm-hmm.
and why they would grow them at Ransom Beach as opposed to Center Island or Roosevelt and Oyster Bay, I really don't have an answer for that. All I could do is laugh, but, I don't think it's something that you're gonna see construction start tomorrow.
But they have to
Well,
build
no,
a
but-
hatchery. They were given funds to build a hatchery.
Correct. They were given funds for a hatchery, and there's a time limit on those funds.
Yeah.
And what they are saying, what they said to Newsday, and what they're saying is they're still under site assessment. However, I was at a presentation where they said, we've chosen Ransom Beach and we're moving forward with this. So,
There was certainly, in the
I mean-
meeting I had with them, that was their wish to put it there.
correct, but I have really big concerns about that site for several reasons. And while I know that they have been considering at the Waterfront Center, the DEC pier over there, I know they looked at Steely Beach. It doesn't make sense. Ransom Beach is not working waterfront. And I think Bayville has to consider Bayville and say, what is the knock-on effect going to be for any current or future businesses at that location? To not have a process that involves community input for siting, it really, while they're open in the sense, right, it's a 10,000 square foot hatchery. You need less than half of that for 1 billion shellfish. So I'm not quite sure why they're insistent on such a large facility either. But I would like to know the best way to engage with the trustees to advocate for Bayville, that if that's something that the community here has questions about, comments about. Now, Oyster Bay has said over and over they're happy to come and give a presentation, and I would love to see them do that, but I'd love to see them do it outside of just this arena, to where they set up a proper public meeting and invite the community in to give feedback on a building and that type of working waterfront industry in that location.
Excuse me,
Yes.
I'm sitting in the arena. I have no idea about what you're speaking of. I've seen no plans, no renderings, no suggestions, nothing in writing with respect to what this is going to be. I would like to see something like that. I'd like to know whether it's actually going to be in Bayville or not. Okay. And what part of the use of the West Harbor? You realize that the federal wetlands, the preserved area after the bridge and tunnel controversy, is the bottom of the harbor. It's not along the edge. It's not in any of the wetlands. It's the actual bottom of it itself. So anything that's going to be done that's going to utilize that aspect of West Harbor is going to have to be, I think, dealt with the federal government. I understand that. But if you're looking at alternatives to that, I haven't seen anything with respect to where they're going to build it at Ransom and what they're going to do.
I've seen it all only because I've been working on it with the Waterfront Center, in conjunction with the Waterfront, not as a village trustee, but as a president of the Waterfront Center. So that's my familiar with it. It's a large building. We were going to partner up with them to do the education component of it. And that's why it is a better location over there. I don't think Bayville's the right spot for it, personally.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that it was brought to everybody's attention and to appeal to the village trustees to see if there's any way that they can maybe engage with the town of Oyster Bay and help us get some of these questions answered and get more community input into that. My biggest fear is that they move forward in this way and get to a permitting phase, and then it's kind of, well, you know, they're going to be really mad if they don't move forward because they expended so much money and got to a certain point. I 1000% appreciate that this is a certain amount of money and there's an end date to this money. I can appreciate that. But so from the start, it should be roll it all into one contract, have it be a multi-phase contract, because once it is in a contract, they can't pull that money back, right? I understand 25 and 26 are the deadlines for the expenditures of that money, but there's a way to build a contract so that they don't lose it. It's in an executed contract, but we can still get proper site assessment on multiple parcels, not just 3 that happen to be really convenient. You know, I know there's multiple complications at that particular site there by the Waterfront Center with DEC and the pier and ownership, and there are other locations, and a 10,000 square foot facility is tremendous, especially for this purpose. So I'm not sure what the insistence is on a large
Where
building.
did you hear about the size? Because again, I didn't see
It
actual
is.
drawings.
It is. I've seen the
but,
drawings.
I saw the site plan with plotted on there. It didn't seem to be 10,000 square
I think it
foot.
goes down low and high. I saw the renderings, at least what they were going to do over at the Western Waterfront. It's a big building.
So there were minutes that were circulated to me from a Friends of the Bay meeting. There was a field meeting that nobody from Bayville was at, and it was some people from Friends of the Bay, people from Oyster Bay, and some other individuals. And that's where they had said it's a 10,000 square foot building. And I just feel like there should be, even if it's 5,000 square feet, there should be community involvement. I know lots of people have things that they would love to see at Ransom Beach, right? And maybe people want to talk about having a pier or a better way for the community to be able to use that location. That's not a parking lot, but I feel like doing something of this size in that area is going to really then stymie anything else people might want to do in that area as well. 95-degree heat in the summer too, that's going to smell. So there's restaurants across the road. And I just feel like Bayville communities have not been involved.
I agree with you. Well, can I ask again the BEC, the B is Chancellor Bayville, you inform us?
We just found out over the past 2 days, right before
Well,
Christmas at the
Didn't just
meeting.
find out that there was going to be a facility built.
No, she did. She
I-
did.
we did, this is what I'm saying.
The liaison, or just,
Well, I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I know nothing about any of this.
Well, Oyster Bay did not come to us.
she went.
We,
I think it's really on the town of Oyster Bay to be discussing this with us, but they're not. We had to find this out and go to these things and put
What I'm
ourselves
saying
in
is
that.
the Bayville Environmental,
Right, but
It's
the town of
really
Oyster Bay's plan
inform us.
should be informing us, and they're not including us on anything.
but you seem to know about this.
Right.
well, so it was just a series of,
We started talking,
right.
and I was aware because Lloyd Harbor did it, Laurel Hollow did it, and I was representing Bayville at the time. I thought we were talking about West Harbor as our site at one point. And I know Steve had spoken to Oyster Bay, but that was a while ago.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm just
Yeah,
looking
and
through
I
my
know
emails
about
to
it.
see when it was.
But it wasn't like a formal,
No, I
putting
don't
the
think
pieces
they were.
together, because he left us in the dark, really. I mean, they're just kind of forging ahead without.
Right,
Exactly.
that's right, that's the first day of the
Right,
town.
it should be Oyster Bay coming to you.
Correct.
Then I've
Right,
met
correct.
extensively with the town and the environmental commission of the town, but through the waterfront center, and then that kind of stopped when they decided they're thinking of alternate locations. But from my end, on the other side, we're still kind of hoping they choose the western waterfront, and it wasn't, as far as we were concerned, it wasn't set in stone yet to be Ransom. I know,
Well,
Jim Benicozzi and I spoke briefly about it a little while ago, and he noted then that he didn't think it was the right spot for it either. But I think they're still in their process of figuring out which site. At least that's the understanding.
They say
that I
that,
have.
they kind of say that, they allude to that, but then at these meetings, they're stating that they pick their site. That's the issue.
Right.
Right, Joyce just went to that meeting,
Yeah.
that was the only.
At the Long Island Agricultural Forum,
Yeah.
a representative from the town of Oyster Bay gave a
Who was it?
presentation. It was Tim Gilmartin. Gave a presentation, the beginning of which was, these were 3 sites we're looking at, it's very difficult, and he went on to talk about Ransom Beach as a.
Yeah, I don't think they decided firmly on it, and I'm gonna be looking into it on the other end as well. So.
Keep the bridge closed, they can't come in.
Yeah, then they can't do it.
I had a very informal meeting with them. They were nice, they asked me to go look, they showed a site plan using Ransom Beach. There was nothing set in stone at the time, it certainly did not look at a 10,000 square foot building. Everything in government takes an extremely long time. I do not expect to see a building going up there anytime in the near future. As Elisa is telling you, I really do not think that they have decided on that location. Logistically, it's just stupid, to be They have to drive the shellfish to the bay, why not
Yeah.
build the building? on
Right,
it?
they cannot put fluffies on that site,
So,
so they have to maintain the site in Oyster
I
Bay.
will say, we're really pushing to have it over there, so hopefully they'll listen to that. So I hope we win for multiple reasons, but I just think that's the most logical. And it wasn't in the building where the waterfront center is now. They're proposing to build, the proposal is to build a new building, which the waterfront center would share with the town. Partner up with them because
Right.
we have the education aspect.
And that makes great sense.
Yeah, we
to
could
put it
give
there.
them, so that's what the hope was. But it was a big building that they were going to build, which
Right.
I still didn't even think it was nice for there.
Well, and so what they said in their presentation was that they've engaged with the consultant, and the consultant will be constructing conceptual designs at Ransom Beach.
When was this meeting you went to?
The Long Island Agricultural Forum
When
was
was it?
last week.
Oh, last week, okay.
So it leads me to believe that they're past the point of looking for sites, and they're moving ahead with Ransom Beach. And I don't know, I'm new to this, I don't know what the process is. I'm sorry that you were not informed, we just became informed before the holidays. So I'm here to,
And you asked that the board of trustees get involved. All I'm saying is I know nothing about this, I have no basis for being involved, I'd like more information. And if the BECC has information, I'd like them to share it.
absolutely, I will forward you everything I have. I will see if I can get a hold of that presentation. It was a public forum out on the East End. And I will forward all of that through Amy and, and the.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to everybody.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
Anybody else? Meet Gene?
Yeah, I don't wanna give you an ulcer, but what's happening with Steve's Pier?
With Steve Pierre. They're building oyster houses.
I'm sorry, sir, can you go to the podium and give us your name and address and then everybody?
Gene Pileggi, 8 Summit View Drive, Bayville. Anyway, Steve's Pier. Anything going on? I know you were involved in it, and we thought we had something going on.
Again, Steve's Pier is 2 parcels of land. The old Florist site, which was approved for this subdivision for 3 homes, just passed their architectural review last week. We'll be applying for the building permit hopefully this week, and hopefully we'll see 3 nice, beautiful new houses on the Florist site very soon.
Right.
The Steve's Pier restaurant site, we hope, we'll see, but hopefully at the February village meeting, this meeting, we'll have plans to review. We have, nothing has been submitted for that as of yet.
I think I mentioned it a while ago, a lot of fill was brought in to that spot where the restaurant was, and to my knowledge, from years ago, bringing fill into Bayville was illegal without a permit. So I don't know, it's a mountain there now, which is unsightly. Even if it was green, it's terrible to drive in a Bayville Park and not see the Long Island Sound. So I'm concerned about that too, as things move forward.
Well, it's not gonna be that high, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
they had a permit for that, Bill, right? Because they had plans that were approved to build there.
Well, I'm not aware of, because I'm not involved in that detail, but I think it's unsightly. And if it was done illegally, it has to be removed by the people who brought it in. It's my concern also, among all the other things. Thank you.
Thank you.
They love the building.
Do you have some library news for us, or you just here cheering on your husband?
I would love to say a couple of things.
And Gene, I was kidding, I know you are.
I was worried you didn't.
I'll say Pat Durkin, clergy, how's that?
Give your address.
So, for people that don't know, the Bayville Library is undergoing a very big renovation. We had an endowment from Larry and Serena Sparanday, who left us over $1 million to make a big change in the library, to modernize it and to give us more space. So we needed the permission of the village, and we wanted to move the water department and use that space, which we did. So the water department has a fabulous place now right next to the museum. And next, then we put the scout rooms, the Boy Scout, Girl Scout, we put them together. and better utilization of space since they don't use them all the time. And then where the water department is the Faraday Hall, is what we're calling it officially. And with all the problems that come up, it's unbelievable. Old problems, new problems that is here today. It's very colorful. And Ashley, the director, has appreciated Nikki and Maria helping her with colors and chairs, and she said, you guys have been great. So we have bright blues, we have gray and whites like this. It's very modern looking. And it's gonna open the end of February, I hope.
February, January 29th. I got an email.
Did you?
Come on.
So it should be good. And we will have a big party at some point, which would be great. And I just, when you said all the businesses in Bayville, you know, the library is part of the chamber. And I think the chamber, as Ann will say, it's really growing nicely, welcoming in the new people. They had a great party at Mill Creek, and we met the people from the solar place, and it was really, really nice. I could see that the chamber, along with all the groups, is coordinating a really nice village.
Thank you.
You mentioned books.
They have books.
Oh, there's a
Plenty of books.
I can mention the good part and the bad part. The books that got soaked because the roof in the scout room was leaking, so we have piles of books that are completely ruined. There's so many problems that are new, they're just coming up. Some lights work, some don't. The HVAC went off. The mother's something fried. I didn't even know what it was.
Such a downer, Pat. Maybe it's not over
In the end,
until
it'll be
February.
Maybe that was a foreshadowing.
After she doesn't have a nervous breakdown, it will open. She's very positive, she's been great. We've had to change staff. I mean, just so many things that she's been doing. She's great.
And bring back the overdue books.
Got a lot of new books.
That's where the money is, Jim.
Clyde, did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, I gotta get up and.
Yes.
We got a thing in the
Excuse me,
neighborhood.
I apologize. Your name,
Oh,
please,
Clyde Oliver,
and your address, please,
2 High Court.
to High Court?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We got a thing from the sanitation department where they're changing what kind of pails you can use in town. And when I got a thing from whoever the commissioner of sanitation, whatever, he's saying it's because Oyster Bay's guys got it, our people have it. You can't use the kind of cans we've been using for 10 years. It made no sense to me. In other words, I understand in our town law that you shouldn't have anything more than, it shouldn't weigh more than 75 pounds, that's fine. But it's saying the kind of ones where the top is attached, you can't use anymore. That made no sense. If you live in a neighborhood.
Here's the village code that has not been modified. I highlighted it for you, okay? It says that the covers shall be kept secure and fastened at all times, except when depositing or removing garbage.
Okay.
So those pails are designed for a mechanical lift, not for manpower to dump into a truck. Now, maybe when just you had it, it might have been all right. Now, when there's hundreds of homes and a sanitation crew that works very hard through terrible weather, can't be dumping hundreds of pails that are designed for a truck to be picking up.
Even if it's under 70 pounds each.
Correct, because the lid does not remove.
Okay, now I have one other question. So if we go with the Rubbermaid makes a 32-gallon pail, in other words, and it has a 32-gallon wheel trash container, blah, blah, blah. And it has a built-in tether hose for optional attachment of lid to can. Okay, my question is this, and just keep it simple. When they come and remove your garbage and they take the top off, if it's not attached, it's halfway down the street. I mean, whether it's them or whether it's the wind or whatever, I don't see what the problem would be of having a can where it's attached, like with a, like a loosely attached, but still attached, so you don't lose the tops.
Well, when they go to flip it over, right? They're gonna get hit with that
Yeah.
top, their hands are gonna get caught.
You're talking about a heat, right? No, I'm talking about you can attach it with, you know, plastic, whatever, you know, anything, just so it's attached.
Because Trustee Santoro said, it's in their way when they're dumping the pail. You know, listen, I have lids for my garbage pails that snap on. Also, they're removable. I understand what you're saying, they blow away, et cetera, but we can't have pails with the lids attached to the guys dumping hundreds and hundreds of garbage pails a day into the truck. They're, again, the original one you talked about, they're too heavy. They are dangerous. Their hand could, although highly unlikely, get pinched in between the lid and the pail. And it makes it very difficult to lift it and dump it in when the top is hinged on it. The garbage doesn't always come out easily. Again, that's part of the reason the town of Oyster Bay banned them 6 months ago. So they're designed for.
But apparently Huntington went back on trying to do that.
Well, they may have a truck with a mechanical lift.
I don't know. But I'm even asking you, if you get the new pails, you can't have it where it's attached.
Right.
You have to,
Permanently attached.
huh?
Permanently attached.
Well, you can use, you know, like a,
When I moved here, I kept losing my lids down the block. I blame my neighbors for stealing them, but that's not the point. I attached a rope to the cover and a rope to the can. And that also, I didn't realize, is a hindrance, if not a danger, to the guys who are emptying the thing. So they immediately disconnected the rope from the cover of the pail. But if you contact Rubbermaid, they will send you, probably for free, as they did for me, a number of additional lids for your garbage can. So if you lose them, you can get more.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else this evening? Okay, that'll do it then.
Thanks, I have no other business, there's nothing else. All right, then I'll take a motion to close the meeting at 7:17 PM.
I'll make my motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro, thank you. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Negro? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Minneke.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.